There's always a fear that a second set is going to crash a TCG. Let's see how Arthurian Legends has done. Well, what is going on, everyone? Welcome back to Kitchen Table TCG. My name is Louie, and I hope you're having yourself a fantastic day. Today, we're going to chat and talk about Arthurian Legends, Sorcery's second set, second big release. I'm really excited to chat with you about my thoughts on where we are on it, and then also tell you where I think we might be going in the future and some other things going on. First and foremost, if you do want to support the channel, you can go to KitchenTableTCG.com. We do have Arthurian Legends boxes available, so if this game is new to you, we were streaming the other night. We had a bunch of people hopping in who did not ever see Sorcery, and that was their first experience. So if this is new to you, you can hop on to KitchenTableTCG.com to pick up some boxes, and you can also join the Discord server, which is free to be in if you have questions about the game and you want to chat about it, that kind of thing. So let's get into Arthurian Legends. Whenever you have an indie TCG, a not Magic the Gathering, a not Pokemon, really, even like Star Wars, what is this stupid Star Wars set? Star Wars Unlimited, right? Whenever you have a second set come out, that initial hype from the first set often weans off and dies, and people kind of see the game for what it really is. And that is always a fear when a second set of a game comes out. And we talked about this in the weeks and months leading up to Arthurian Legends, that there was gonna be some negativity, there was gonna be some whatever. As a second set comes out, there's always that kind of attitude in the indie TCG space. And that just really, I mean, like, it didn't really happen. There's a little bit of that, but man, the initial release of Arthurian Legends, I think went really, really well. Boxes moved, and there was some opportunity to pick up boxes for below MSRP. There's still like one seller on TCG Player who's under MSRP, but at the end of the day, you're still paying about the same. And the initial supply of this product seems to have been pretty well received without completely going to the moon. Like, it seems like they really shot the numbers very, very accurately, which is incredibly hard to do, because from a store ordering standpoint, every store who cares about this game is ordering as many boxes as they can with the idea that it's going to get allocated, with the idea that they're going to want to get more boxes. And so you have this world where Sorcery, as the company, Eric's Curiosa, has to pick and choose what numbers they're going to give to distro based on like false data. It's really hard to evaluate how many boxes stores actually want and stores actually need when they're putting in and asking for more boxes than they actually want. It's kind of a weird, world with pre-allocation product like that. So I think they did a really good job with this initial supply. It seemed like the first couple weeks, the market for singles was pretty accessible. You could pick up a lot of cards for relatively cheap. And then as people figured out the meta, people figured out what cards they needed to add to their collection, you saw a lot of those cards move on TCG Player. Now, I know the comment section is going to tell me there's all these people buying out cards and speculating on cards and whatever. That is accurate. There's always going to be that in trading card games, especially in indie TCGs with such a reach as Sorcery, a game that has grown up in a big way. There's a lot of content creators talking about the game now. There's a lot of stores who are involved in the game now. You're going to have that, in a lower print run game like Sorcery, you're going to have that kind of buyout kind of attitude that happens. But that doesn't change the fact that at the end of those buyouts, once the prices go down a little bit, there is still people picking up cards, building decks who want these cards for their collections and for their decks and for the other things. And so I think my point being that they did a really, really good job on the initial supply, and the market seems to have accepted the print run, seems to have accepted the price of the box was a big thing we were all talking about initially, with the 24 packs compared to the $129, compared to 36 packs for $150. It seems like we as a community have really accepted a lot of those things, and so I think Arthurian Legends' initial release was a big success. Now, there's some negatives that I want to hone in here right in this part of the video, and that is the binders, the play mats, and that kind of stuff still aren't here. And I think that's a big bummer. As somebody who's trying to put together a complete set, I like don't even want to put things into a binder because I'm just going to take them out and put them in those really cool Arthurian Legends binders that they've been showing off. And so I wish that kind of stuff in the playmat, like as a retailer, there's a lot of people who ordered a playmat as well as a booster box. And so there's a lot of those things that are frustrating. But when it comes to a second release for an indie TCG game, I will take this any day. If this is the end result, this is so much better than what we have seen in the past with overprinting, what we've seen in the past with huge delays. With Sorcery, we saw big delays in the release cadence and that kind of thing. So I wish that we had playmats and I wish we had binders, and I'm starting to get to the point where I'm hoping we see some word of a restock. I hope that restock's not massive, but you give like a 10% restock, give stores another case or two to make sure they have product on the shelf. I think that's a really big win for the community. And I hope that that kind of stuff happens as we move forward into the next couple weeks for Arthurian Legends. Now I want to get to something I brought up at the beginning of the video, which is new players. And this is really, I think, my biggest question mark with Arthurian Legends. I understand that the company wants to have a reduced amount of products because it's easier for them to make deadlines, you know, like we were just talking about, and that kind of thing. But the lack of a 2-player starter deck, or the lack of an easy-to-purchase product for the new player who doesn't want to pick up a booster box and build a deck, I think is a miss. Now, that being said, I think Sorcery has a really cool opportunity here, being a smaller game company, being able to pivot and change things, and also having advertised this one set release thing a year. I think it would be a really cool idea for Sorcery to look into doing a starter deck or a 2-player starter deck thing at like a 6-month mark after the release of the initial product. So in other words, in 4 or 5 months from now, you could, I don't know if the timing is possible, maybe in the future, you could have a 2-player Arthurian Legends starter deck that has maybe 2 different avatars, maybe it has some sort of reprints of different cards that are, you know, from beta, and it's actually put together as a $10 to $15 product for the new player to hop in and to engage in the hobby and to play. And I think that could be a really cool opportunity to put some sort of change in the meta, an avatar that does things differently, and so all of a sudden you have these cards that, you know, see additional play because of these new avatars that get printed. And I think there's some opportunity long term for Sorcery to do those things and add to their cadence without having to produce an entire booster box worth of cards and artwork and that kind of thing. You do it as more of a reprint set, maybe with one avatar again that's different, and you do just decks. And I think there's a cool way to do that. Maybe you throw a booster pack in each deck as well, so you give people that kind of opening experience that everybody loves. I think something like that would really push the opportunity level for Sorcery with players and be a really great way for people to get involved in the game and that kind of thing. And speaking of gameplay, I have now sat down and played some Arthurian Legends a little bit more. We were going through a bunch of stuff locally, so I've been very, very busy, but the gameplay, so much fun. And this is the biggest thing, I think, for me. The game hasn't changed. Arthurian Legends was a little bit concerning to me. I thought, hey, we're going to add King Arthur and all this Arthurian lore, and it's not going to feel like Sorcery anymore. It still very, very much feels like Sorcery, the trading card game that I fell in love with a year and a half ago, and that I want to play all the time, and that I love. It just now feels like that, plus Arthurian Legends cards. And I feel like the set added a lot of cool mechanics, but it didn't take away at all from the thing that I love about Sorcery, and feeling like the realm is being contested, feeling like the realm is something to play on and fun. And I think that is the biggest win of this whole thing, is that it's not just a set of art cards, right? It's not just like this thing that looks beautiful and is collectible and is expensive or blah, blah, blah. It's actually really, really fun to sit down and play. So I'm hoping we do some more gameplay footage. I'm going to get some of the guys together maybe this weekend, and I'm hoping we do some gameplay footage for you all, because I know I want to do that, and I think it's important to show you guys this isn't just about the collecting. It's not just about, it's like the gameplay is super, super fun, and that's really important. It's different, but it also feels the same, which is a really cool mechanic. And it makes me really excited to look through and think about what they could do in the future with different sets and different themes, because I'm no longer afraid that the theme is gonna overpower the feeling of sorcery, because they've now proven that they can handle that and they can do it. And Arthurian Legends is a pretty strong theme, and so they were able to do that and scale back the Arthurian to still feel the sorcery, which I think is a really big deal. So moving forward, for me, I'm going to be working on set collecting. I'm doing a full foil set. Not going to try to open it. I'm going to try to pick up some singles. I'll probably wait, in my opinion. I'm going to wait for the reprints to see, you know, what the reprint happens and how much that scales back the product and the singles and that kind of stuff. But we're gonna keep hanging out on stream. I'm gonna try to get back to regular streaming, that kind of thing. We might even have a sample pack coming, which would be really cool. I've never gotten to open a sample pack, so we'll do a sample pack stream. And like I said, we are gonna do some gameplay and stuff like that, so make sure you're following along. And then we have the Dragon mini set that's coming out at some point in the next 6 months or so, I would guess. And that'll be really interesting to see kind of what changes that brings to, again, the meta. They put an avatar in there, they put a couple cards in there. They can really change what we're seeing gameplay wise. I think that's really cool in a mini set, and we'll see what that looks like for Sorcery. So hope you have yourself a fantastic day. Again, if you're looking to pick up some boxes, head on over to KitchenTableTCG.com. We also have singles there, everything you need, deck boxes, play mats, anything you could use for Sorcery. I hope you have yourself a fantastic day. Be kind to the people around you. We'll see you again next video.